So, Captain Michael, welcome to Flight Experience, welcome to the cockpit of a Boeing 737, and welcome to Sydney Kingsford Smith Airport. So we have the domestic behind us, the internationals over there, we got IKEA Tempe over here, and we're going to taxi onto the runway that goes off over Botany Bay. Now you're going to take off, loop around, come into land the same way. You won't stop on the first one. You do what pilots call a touch and go. You'll then just take straight back off again, loop around, come in for a perfect landing on that second one. Once we're happy, we'll head over and give Queenstown a go.
Okay.
So, first things first, this big thing in front of you here. Do you remember what it's called by any chance? Testing you now?
Not really.
That's all right. Effectively, it's a steering wheel.
Steering wheel.
In the air. So in the air, this controls us. So left will turn us left, right will turn us right. Pull back, we go up. Push down and we'll go down. Now I'm sure you've seen hundreds of movies that do that. The main thing you've got to remember that's going to be different for you is you're controlling 60 tons worth of aircraft. So with these big planes, everything you do has a little bit of a delay to it. Which means we like to see nice, smooth movements with the controls. The smoother you are, the easier it's going to be. The faster and jerkier you are, the harder it's going to be. Does that make sense?
So just nice and smooth.
Nice and smooth everywhere you go. Come into your feet. There's a left pedal and a right pedal. They're called rudder pedals. So they're attached to the tail, which is the rudder, also attached to your nose wheel at the front. So this is how you steer when you're on the runway. Left goes left, right goes right. It's locked to a maximum 7-degree turn. So it's great for keeping you on runways, but it's not going to get you from the runway to the terminal and vice versa. You have what's called a tiller wheel for that. It's called a back wheel. That one is also attached to the nose wheel, but has a greater range of motion. So up goes right, down goes left. That's left,
left, right.
Beautiful. Coming up here, we have a landing gear. Those wheels that stick out the bottom of our plane. Now, after takeoff, you're going to reach over and lift the lever out, which unlocks it. And you're going to bring it all the way up. Brings those wheels into the belly of our plane. When you're coming into land, you're going to be out and into the down position. These 3 green lights mean those wheels are locked in the down position and it's safe for you to land. So we'll look for that first. Just to the left of it, something called an auto brake. It's a great name for it. Not sure how they made that, but it brakes for us automatically. So 1, 2, 3 and max, different settings of braking. You have it at the moment set to RTO. It stands for rejected takeoff. So when you're bustling down the runway, if you pulled back on the throttle, brakes would kick in. They'd kick in hard to start slowing you down before you reach the end of that runway. So things are always comforting. Always nice to know if you pull back in the power, we at least start to slow down, right? All right, coming onto your side. This screen here, it's called a PFD. It stands for Primary Flight Display, and it holds all the information you need to fly a plane. So without exaggerating, especially on your first one, you're going to be spending about 70–80% of your attention just fixated in on that screen. So you have 2 tapes either side of a big picture in the middle here. This tape on the left measures your speed. It's measured in knots. On your right here is your height above sea level, your altitude. And this is measured in feet. Now, have you ever seen one of these pictures before? It's in a couple of things like air crash investigation.
I've seen it on YouTube and that type of stuff.
You've seen it in your little plane as well. It's in every plane, from the tiniest Cessna to the biggest Boeing, and it's called an artificial horizon. It tells you what's going on outside. So if we're in a cloud or it's nighttime, we still know what's happening with the plane. So the blue is sky, brown is ground, 2 lines are your wings. This dot is the important one. That's the nose of our aircraft. That's us, that dot there. Now you'll notice big lines that go above the horizon here. The bigger ones that are different sizes go up in sets of 5. And we're going to hold that dot on different lines throughout the flight. So on takeoff, for example, you're going to pull back on that yoke, waiting for the dot to get up to the 5, 10, 15-degree line. And that's how you read that one. All good so far? Excellent. Ripping through it. Got what's called a navigation display just next to it. And really on a basic level, it works like most modern GPSs do in cars, Google Maps, that sort of thing. It's a bird's eye view looking down at us. This triangle here is us. We're always going to be pointing up at our 12 o'clock. Everything else will revolve around us just like a compass does.
And so it's compass, so it's 27 degrees.
We're looking west right now, exactly right. So you might see 2 white parallel lines coming out from the triangle here. They represent a runway. You can see they're just up and to our left. If you look up and then to our left, there's our runway. So as you taxi onto the runway, it's going to slowly come up like this. When it's straight up in front of us, it'll be straight up and down there.
So what runway will we be taking off on?
16 right, so the one over Botany Bay, and you're going to spin around and head towards the city up the coast. So this has some pretty cool features as well. Any terrain that's close by will pop up as colour on this. Now, you know Sydney's a coastal airport, so we don't have to worry too much about it here, but in Hong Kong it'll pop up. If we have any other planes already up in the air, it'll pop up on this screen as an added safety feature. And then also if we have a bad storm, we have a weather radar, so we can put on there as well, tell us where the best or worst parts of the storm are. These 2 screens, engine management displays.
Yep.
And we manipulate that with our throttle quadrant.
Yep.
But there shouldn't be too much here you don't recognize from a car. So you have your oil temps, your oil pressures, how hot the engines are, the revs, that sort of thing. We just have two of them because we have two engines rather than the one for the car. So as you notice here, this is the throttle. Looking into the revs, you'll notice that the engines are on a bit of a delay. They do get there, it just takes them some time. There we go.
Okay.
You don't have to guess where you want your engines though. You'll notice as you move the throttle around, a white line will appear underneath.
Yep.
If you want your engines resting at 2, for example, just 20% of full thrust,
yep.
you'll pull back on the throttle looking for that white line and rest that white line on the 2. So yeah, if you can give that a go for me now.
Pull it back.
Perfect. There's the white line. Bring it to the 2. Perfect. Let go there. You know the engines will eventually catch up and stay there.
Okay.
Nice and easy, that one. Coming just above it is my personal favourite. So this one's called reverse thrust. Have you ever heard of reverse thrust before?
When they land?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, it helps you...
Yeah, pull back, helps slow the plane down.
Exactly right. Yeah. So perfect. If you lift them back for me now so you get the feeling of it, you should recognise the sound. It's a good one. Means we've landed safely. Perfect. You can bring it back down for me now, but you can see you fired up the engines just like you would on takeoff. It just pushes all the air forwards to help slow you down rather than backwards to give you thrust. It just pushes it all forwards. So it's my favourite thing in the world to go to the airport when it's raining because you can see when they engage that and all the water goes flying out the front. Yeah, okay. Exactly right.
And that's the speed brake you'd put on as well.
Yeah, perfect. I feel like I might be babying you a little bit. Yeah, okay, cool. You're paying attention. I appreciate that. So the auto brakes on the wheels. That's the first thing we talked about, and there's 3 things we use to slow ourselves down. Wheels, engine, and then the speed brake. Have you heard of the speed brake or a spoiler before?
Yeah, I've seen them on YouTube.
Yeah, so you know that they're the panels that pop up on the wing.
I didn't know.
Yeah, so when your wheels hit the ground, if you've ever been lucky enough to have the passenger seat, the window seat as a passenger, if you ever looked out on top of the wing, as soon as your wheels hit the ground, all the panels on top
they go the other way.
Exactly right. So popping up like that creates a bit of drag, sure, but the main point, it works like a spoiler in a car. It kills lift, so it forces air on top of the wings, pushes the plane into the ground, which makes your brakes effective. You're not just skimming across the surface of the runway there.
Okay.
So you'll have to arm this during your flight. You'll notice a bit of a bump in the metal just here. Keeps it locked when you need it to be locked. Also helps you arm it. You're just going to lift it up, pull it back a smidge, and just rest it on the bump.
During flight?
Yeah, at some point when you arm the auto brake as well. Now, when your wheels hit the ground, this will automatically come all the way back, and it's one less thing for you to have to worry about.
Okay.
So your speed brake's automated. Your auto brake's obviously automated. So the only thing you're going to worry about, Captain, is that reverse thrust back.
Okay.
Cool. These wheels are going to be spinning throughout the flight. They're called trim wheels. You would have had them in the small plane as well, but you would have actually done, physically. We have electric trim, so I'm going to be controlling that with my thumb over here, and you've got it on the left side. But I'll take care of that for us today.
Okay.
And all it means is it just keeps the plane nice and stable. So you shouldn't have to be pulling towards you just to keep the plane nice and straight.
Okay.
So when you let go of the controls, I'll use the wheels to keep the dot nice and stable.
Okay.
Okay. On this side, though, we have a pilot's best friend.
Flaps.
Yes. What are the flaps?
It's designed to slow the plane down, isn't it?
Perfect. Exactly right. So you've ever seen those panels pop off the back of the wing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what that is. Every time you see those panels pop off the back of the wing, you know the plane is slowing down. The slower you go, the easier it is to land. So to make it a little bit more complicated, because you seem to be knowing a little bit about it, it just fundamentally makes that wing larger.
But they don't put the flaps on all the... They like do 1 or 2 at a time, don't they?
Exactly. Yeah, so you have actually these guards, so you can't actually do it, too much at a time. So that makes the wing larger, which means that wing generates more lift. And that's why it can fly at slower speeds. So it actually helps you take off as well. So you'll have your flap setting at 5 for takeoff, you'll bring it all the way up for your flight, and then you'll bring it all the way down to either 30 or 40 for landing. And every time you bring it out, you can slow down more.
Okay.
Well, we'll talk about that a little bit more in the air. Technically, this is your first officer's job. You're going to learn pretty early on. You've got a very lazy first officer. You're going to make you do a lot of the work. So if you did want to have a play around, Michael, just lift it up and bring it into the 5 for our takeoff. And it's that easy. So up from there, drop it there. That's all it is. Now we have a flap indicator here. It's going back to the 5 because we only have these little windows, so we can't see our wings. But we know it's in the correct position now. So we can move on to the parking brake, which is the most complicated of the basic ones. It works like a handbrake in a car. If you push it, it goes off. If you pull it, it comes on. Do you reckon you can handle that one?
Yeah, I'll try.
Nailed it. Well done, Captain.
Yeah.
Real quick, this is your pedestal panel down here. Holds all your radio and communication aids. So both sides do the same thing. Captains, first officers, operate on an independent system. So if mine was to stop working, yours would still work, and vice versa. Top row let you talk to air traffic control. So you dial in the frequency of the tower in there. They give you permission to take off and land and that sort of thing. The ones underneath are really cool. These ones are called navigation aids. Have you ever heard of instrument landing systems or anything like that?
Sort of.
Kind of ishness. So there are beacons at all major airports these days, Queenstown not so much, that broadcast their signal along the runway lines. If you dial in the frequency of the beacon into here, you can actually get this to talk to your autopilot, get the autopilot to line up with the beacon. It'll even start descending for you. If you didn't touch anything, it'd pull the power back. It'd come in for a perfect landing.
Is that when they say go to, say, shark or dolphin? Is that when they have a point?
There's a waypoint. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
is that a waypoint
and that sort of thing? No, that's there are waypoints that are just on a map that we've decided this is a physical beacon that's there, just there at the beginning of the runway, and it broadcasts this signal out that way. And instead of saying shark or dolphin or Dina or whatever, you just have a little position out here. So this white dotted line is an extension of the runway. So you'd have a little fix here, so when you got even closer, you'd push different buttons on here, and it would line up with that beacon signal. We can have a play around with that in the air if you have an interest. One last thing down here, unfortunately a little bit more famous these days, it's called a transponder. This broadcasts your position to air traffic control radar. So you'll at this point flick yourself on, so we pop up on the radar, and then once so bring it all the way to the right to TARA, and then we'll pop up on their screens, and any planes in the area will now pop up on here as well. We have the ability to turn it back off because we don't want to congest that screen up with all those planes on the ground. So when you land, you'll flick yourself back off.
Okay.
Coming up here, the mode control panel, fancy word for autopilot. We'll play around with this up in the air, so we'll blast through it now. But two systems, captain and first officer, and it controls your speed, which we'll be using the whole time, your heading, so what direction you're going, and your altitude, what height you're at. It's the best pilot I know.
So when they say to them, no less than 300 knots, they'll dial in 300.
Exactly right. And they'll normally have what's called a clearance limit, so there'll be no more than 300 knots, 250 knots by a certain point. So you'd have to keep this, and then if you can't slow down quick enough, you can actually use the speed brake in flight to help you slow down.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll play around with that in the air. So coming up to the daunting overhead panel, there are a lot of buttons up there. It does take a long time to learn what they all do. Fortunately, they like to group all the important things together. So I'll go through the important subjects. You have fuel on your side. So these are the fuel pumps here. 2 fuel pumps per tank, 3 tanks. 2 in the wing, and 1 in the middle here. Just coming to the right of it, 3 in the middle here is all your electronics. This one here, master battery switch. Works just like a car battery. Turns everything on at the start, gives you basic power, that sort of thing. And then you use this, which is called a bus transfer. This decides what's generating your electricity. So once you have your engines up and running, you transfer the power onto your engines, and that's what's lighting everything up at the moment. Coming through the middle here, all your crowd favorites. You have your emergency exit lights, your no smoking lights, and your seatbelt signs. Hydraulics just next to it, works like power steering, just makes everything easier to use. And on the right here, everything to do with air. So this one here, the grey one, is air conditioning, fairly self-explanatory. And then this one's air pressurization, which lets people breathe higher up, which I've always thought was quite nice of us.
Good idea.
So you put in how high you're going up here, and it will automatically pressurize for us. Apart from that, you have lights down the bottom on either side, and 2 engine starters in the middle. So yes, it is complicated. Yes, there are a lot of buttons up there, but having to remember 4 or 5, 6 subjects is a lot easier than having to remember what each individual button does. And that is all the controls of a Boeing 737. That easy, right? I know I overload you with information. It does become more obvious when you see it in action. So let's taxi on the runway. But before we do, we'll get ourselves a little bit more visible. So you've already turned on your transponder. Bring on your fixed lights as well. So bring these all the way down, those 2. They're the fixed ones. We'll leave those ones off, and we'll turn them on just before we take off. They're retractable ones. You'll bring your strobe lights on, so you can bring that one down there, the flashing lights on your wings. And then the very last thing we do is hit this attend button. Lets the flight crew know to take their seats and buckle up because we're about to take off. That's it. So you recognize that when you're a passenger, you'll see them walk back to their seats and they'll give us the all clear, which they've done. So captain, push on that parking brake to turn it off. This one here.
This one here?
Just push it. Now bump the throttle, looking for that white line, remember, just a little bit. Get the white line somewhere between the 3 and the 4 for me, just to give us a little boost of power. perfect on the other side of there. That'll do. Just to give us a little bit of forward momentum. And now you're going to put your hands on that quarter black wheel.
Yep.
Yep, and it's really sensitive. So down goes left, up goes right. Try to keep us on this yellow line here.
Sorry.
See here, Michael.
Not that.
This yellow line here. So right for it. See how here it goes up and then sideways in your glare shield? Just here, Michael.
Sorry.
Just here. Yeah. That's the nose of your plane.
Okay.
Okay. So just just keep it in the middle and just hold a tiny bit of down pressure. Hold that. Instead of bringing it back to the middle, just hold that. That's enough.
Okay.
So just hold a tiny bit down. That's enough. There you go, nice and smooth. So instead of bringing it back to the middle, hold it less than that. Less than that. Just hold that. Hold that. There you go. Perfect. Nice. And you're going to line the runway up with this little section on the glare shield here. So if you're sitting normally in your seat, that's the nose of your plane just there. So very nice. Keep holding down a little bit. And we'll bring ourselves onto this runway. Very nice, Captain Michael. Perfect. So line your middle up with this bit here. So don't bring yourself over. Let's sit normally in your seat.
Yeah.
And that's looking pretty spot on to me.
Okay.
Happy with that?
Yep.
All right, bring your hand back on this. Bring it all the way down. So we come to a stop. Yep. And I'm just going to do
straighten something a bit
more. There we go. Bring the parking brake on now. So pull that one back.
Pull this one back.
Nice taxi job. So that's the hardest part about the flight done.
Okay.
So there's no feedback through that. So that's that job done. Now that we're on the runway, what I'll do, I'll talk us through a takeoff. The first one we'll do together as a captain first officer team. So in a moment, you're going to push on the park brake to turn it off.
Yep.
You'll then bump the throttle this time up to the 4.
Yep.
Looking for that white line underneath.
Yep.
We'll wait for those engines to catch up and stay there.
Yep.
Once they're stable, you'll hit this button that says N1. Really, that should just say takeoff, because that's going to automatically set full takeoff power for you.
Okay.
That way you can keep us on the runway with your feet. You're going to want to use your hands. You're a driver like anyone else. Try to use your feet. Left goes left, right goes right.
Yep.
And all we're doing is waiting to get enough speed that we can take off safely.
Okay.
So as a good first officer, I'll let you know the speeds we're passing.
Yep.
I'll say 80 knots, V1, rotate.
Yep.
Now when I say rotate, that's when the fun starts.
Yep.
The lesson's over when we can enjoy ourselves.
Yep.
You're going to keep pulling back on the yoke like this until the nose comes off the ground.
Yep.
Once it does hold that much back pressure, take your feet straight off those pedals. We won't use them again.
Yep.
And then you're going to take your eyes from outside into this screen.
Yep.
And we're going to get that dot up to the 5, 10, 15 degree line.
Okay.
When it gets close to this big line above the 10, you can actually just let go. Because of how we have these wheels set up, it should stay roughly on that 15 degree line. That way you can reach over and get the landing gear all the way out and all the way up.
Okay.
Now I'm going to take care of your flaps and your speed on the first one for you.
Yep.
Ready to give it a crack? I'm there every step of the way.
I think so.
Let's
Can't
do
remember
it.
But anyway.
Let's do it, mate. So push on that parking brake to turn it off.
Yep.
Bump the throttle up to the 4, looking for that white line underneath. Perfect.
Okay.
N1 button now. That sets takeoff power, and we're off and racing, Captain. Good luck.
So I need to just
A
bring
little bit of left pedal, I would say, to start with. Just line up the middle of the runway with this bit here. Very nice, that's enough. Perfect. That's 80 knots, so we're passing. A little bit of right pedal now. Now that we're back in the middle. Beautiful. Okay, hands on the yoke, V1, rotate, so pulling back towards you, keep pulling back, looking outside, keep pulling back, keep going, keep going, keep going, hold that, feet off the pedals, eyes inside, very smooth, love it, that's the 5, that's the 10, and getting close, so hands up, let go, just let go, landing gear all the way out, all the way up, nice and gently, perfect. Now eyes back inside, we're going to keep that dot close to this 15 degree line until you see 1,000. Now we'll push down to the 10 degree line because then we'll speed up and climb up. So there's 1,000.
Yep.
Push and get this, so if you push it goes down, get it on the 10 degree line and watch what happens to your speed. Perfect. So now we're speeding up and climbing up. Beautiful. Keep it on that 10 degree line. And I'm going to put 230 knots into here. So pull towards you.
Pull back.
Pull back, yeah, to make it go up.
So put it back up to 15.
To the 10, to this one here. And I'm going to set 230 here. Can you just hit this speed button for me? I'm telling it to stop doing takeoff power and maintain that speed.
Okay.
Perfect. So if we can keep it at the 10, it's looking really nice. Now you heard that noise?
Yep.
It all happens quickly. You're doing it really well. That means we're approaching the altitude you want to level out at. So give it another push.
Forward.
Forward. and get that dot below the 5 degree line, in the gap just below that 5 degree line. And when you get there, you can just let go, and I'll use these wheels to keep it there. So let go there, just let go, that's it. You have come out bang on 3,000 feet. Well done, Captain Michael.
Beautiful.
Good takeoff, how's that?
Beautiful, so it's still climbing.
We're actually, this is your height here, and I'm using these wheels to make it so this number stops moving. We're attempting to, at least.
Okay.
There we go, looking good. All right, so let's turn around to the left, and then I'll give you a breather, I promise. So looking in here, start turning left for me. See how this bottom triangle moves this direction?
Yeah.
Get that triangle in the gap between that small line and that big line. Perfect.
Yeah.
Next one over, next gap over.
Okay.
That's perfect there. Pull towards you, pull towards you. Get that dot up at this 5 degree line by pulling towards you, that's it. Very nice. And now, if you can keep that triangle in that gap and keep that dot on the line, so let go a little bit.
Yep.
If you can keep that there, this number will stop moving. That is much easier said than done. So if you turn left a little bit more for me, that's it, touch more, get that right in the middle.
Oh, yep, sorry.
Yes, right, perfect, perfect. Let that dot go down to the 5 degree line, and then you'll just hold a tiny bit of back pressure.
Yep.
So hold a tiny bit now to keep it there, and look at that.
Yep.
That is much easier said than done. Keep pulling back a little bit to make sure it stays there. Yes, awesome. I'm going to bring that purple line over, giving you something to aim for on the other side, and I promise I'll give you a breather in a bit. I've worked you hard. Very nice, man. Perfect, look at that. Awesome, well done. So see how I've just moved this purple line onto this side?
Yep.
That's when we want to stop our turn.
Okay, when it comes up, when it comes to the middle.
Yeah, so we're waiting for it to get close to our 12 o'clock, and then we'll actually, to stop the turn, you'll not yet, but you'll have to do a physical turn to the right. So I'll let you know when to start it. Okay, so start a nice gentle turn back to the right, looking in here again. See how they start getting close, this white triangle and bottom triangle?
Yep.
Keep turning right. That's it, get the bottom triangle and top triangle lined up together. Nice. Yep, keep turning until they line themselves up. Spot on, tiny bit more to the right. That's it, perfect. Push to get that dot down below the 5 degree line, so push away from you. Because as you get your wings level, you're more aerodynamic, so lift has more of an effect and you go up. Perfect, stop there. Look at that, I'll use the wheels to keep it there. Captain Michael, well done, mate. Let's put the autopilot on, so hit this CMD button for me, stands for commands. That's my one, put your one on. That's it, hit heading select for me. Hit that button, turns that purple line into a command for the autopilot to follow. So now we can do a few after takeoff checks. So you got the airport just out your window there that you just took off from, rather nicely I might add.
Yep.
Now we'll do some after takeoff checks.
Yep.
So bring the landing gear out and up and into this middle off position. It just degasses the hydraulic pump so we don't burn it out through the flight.
Yep.
We obviously don't need brakes on and when we're in the air, so you can turn that one off for me. That's it, and our lights. So these two are retractable, not the most aerodynamic of things, they can come all the way up. And then 1, 2, 3 white ones are your taxi lights. We're in the air, we don't need those ones. After takeoff checks complete, Captain.
Okay.
Well done.
Beautiful.
All right, so we have the city just underneath us, or almost underneath us, so we've got the harbour bridge and all that sort of thing. We've got Manly off in the distance out there.
Yep.
Where did you come from today?
Belmore.
Oh, out west, yeah, so we can wave at ourselves out there. And we're just about to go over our physical selves as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out north here, give ourselves enough room to turn ourselves around and line up with the runway because it's behind us here.
Okay.
So you can see that's the runway there.
Yep.
This white dotted line is an extension
of the
that
runway.
So if we can line ourselves up on this screen out here,
it
means when we actually look out our windows, we'll already be perfectly lined up.
Okay.
That's the idea at least.
Yep.
So our first landing is going to be what pilots call a touch and go. It's how we learn how to fly. Did you do any in there?
No, I didn't.
Okay. But yeah, you know,
I've seen them do it.
Plant the wheels on the ground. It means we don't have to arm our brakes because we're not stopping.
Okay.
But we can certainly start slowing down and make this landing easier for ourselves.
Okay.
So do you remember how we slowed down by any chance?
Flaps.
Exactly right. So lift that up and bring it into the 1 for me. Just like lift up and just, that's it. So just drop it there. So you can't go any further than that. You need to make sure you burrow underneath it.
Yep.
So just doing that, it's popped out a little bit from the back,
Yep.
and it reduces the speed you're capable of flying at.
Yep.
from 230, we can go down to 190 knots now. So if you bring this to the left, the way to think about that, to the left of 190, and that's super fancy cruise control.
Okay.
So whatever speed you put in here, the throttle will do whatever it needs to do to get to that speed.
Yep.
So you can see it coming back. You can see the speed on the left there come down.
Yep.
Great job, Captain. All right, so we're going to turn off this autopilot, and you're going to try and hand fly it and line ourselves up with the runway. So you could do it here.
Yep.
Even easier than that, there's a button here. Now it'll make a noise. So push that button in. That's a, are you sure you want to be turning off the autopilot? Push it in again, so you can't do it by accident, which I think is a very good thing. So let's turn around and try and find a runway to land on. So turning left, get this triangle in the gap between that small line and that big line by turning left. That's it. So exactly the same as you did earlier. See how it's moving this way?
Yep.
Get it in the gap between that small line and that big line. So keep turning left, keep turning, keep turning, keep turning.
Yep.
Beautiful, next gap over. I'm going to bring your flaps to 5 and slow you down even more from 190 knots to 170 knots. That's the perfect turn. Stop there. Keep that on the 5-degree line, but because we're a little bit slower, instead of keeping the same height, you'll actually start descending, but at a nice, slow, steady rate.
Okay.
So you heard that noise because we've started descending, which is what we want to do. And that's so, so nice. So really, really nice. What I'd like, we need some wheels to land on, right?
Yeah,
so I can
turn a bit more.
just if you bring the wheels up, I'm going to get you looking at something else. So bring it out and down so you have something to land on. Nice. And I'm going to swap your attention into, so they're red and they'll turn green when they're ready. See this weird donkey tail on this side? That is where you're going to be in 30 seconds.
On this?
Yeah, coming out of our triangle. If you line that up with this white dotted line, it means in 30 seconds you'll be perfectly lined up.
Okay.
So if you turn to the right just a little bit, get the tip of this over here.
Turn to the right?
Yeah, so straighten that donkey tail out, because that's where you're going to be in 30 seconds. Line it up with that center line.
That center line, with the white line?
Yeah, with that white dotted line. Because that is an extension of the runway. Does that 30 seconds? Middle of the runway. Stop there for a second. So you can see in 30 seconds we're going to be nice and close. So that's enough of a turn. We'll just be patient about it. So that's in 30 seconds. That's the white dotted line. We do drift across a little bit. So I always want all of this line, donkey tail, on this side of that white dotted line. I don't want to see any on this side. So see how it's creeping onto that side? Turn left for me and fix that one up. Keep turning a little bit more, a little bit more. So turn left.
Yep.
Get that tail on this side. That's it. That's it. Keep turning. Keep turning. That's enough. That's enough. Stop there. See how it's really close, but all on this side?
Yep.
Spot on, man. I'm going to bring the next stage of flaps out.
So just...
And then, now peel it back. Exactly. Turn right. Get that tip right on that white dotted line by turning right. Slow you down.
Okay.
Turn right now so you can't see that line. Keep turning right. Looking in here, turn right till the triangles line up. Keep turning, keep turning, keep turning, keep turning. Perfect. All right, let's start our descent. Give it a big push. Get that dot down below this little line. Sit it on the horizon for me. So nice, man. And perfect. There, that's enough. Looking outside.
I can see the runway.
You've lined yourself up perfectly. So even though I haven't got you looking outside at all, you've managed to line yourself up. So we have one more stage of flaps to go. So can you bring the flaps to the second last line, the 30? That one there, and then our landing speed for the first one, 152. I'm going to get our lights on for us. That's our landing speed there. Okay, I want you drawing a line, just looking outside now, drawing a line from here to the start of that runway. If you feel like you start sinking and you're not going to make it in time, pull towards you. If you feel like you're flying over the top and you're not going to land in time, push down. Now I'll get you to squeeze it to the left just a tiny bit. Keep turning left, keep turning, keep turning. Keep turning, keep turning. That's enough. So all little movements as you get closer is perfect. Now you heard that 1,000.
You're
going to hear 500, 400, 300, 200, 100. It's height above the ground. When you hear 200, Captain, I want you to push these buttons in with your thumb and pinky. You're going to turn off your cruise control.
So where do I put them?
Those buttons in there. Not yet. When you hear 200.
So what do I do?
You'll push it in when you hear 200. Turning to the left just a tiny bit now. That's heaps. Perfect. So all little movements as you get closer. Back to the right. Now, to get your wings level, so turn right, just looking outside. It's easier to judge. Keep turning, keep turning. That's enough there. Perfect. Awesome. So listening for 200. This is spot on, man. Remember, we're not going to stop. So when your wheels hit the ground, you're going to steer with your feet. So put your feet back on those pedals. We're listening for 200, and you're just going to push those buttons in. And when you hear 100, you're going to bring the power back in one smooth motion, okay? Oh man, this is such a nice first one. Maybe just push those buttons in. Maybe squeeze it to the right a tiny, like squeeze this to the right a tiny bit. Not much.
Yep, and then I push
100
forward.
power down, actually.
Power down.
Yeah, down now. When you hear 50, pull back a little bit on this. Pull back now. And that is a spot-on first landing, man. That is insane. Very nice. Steering with your feet when you're ready. Right hand on the throttle here.
Yep.
Michael, put it on here and just go full power for me. All the way forwards. That's it. Both hands on the yoke. Wait for me to say rotate, and we're going to do it all over again, okay? So hands on this, rotate. So pull gently back towards you, waiting for the nose to come off the ground. That's enough. Feet off the pedals, eyes inside, up to the 15-degree line. Captain Michael, you have to be happy with that first.
Beautiful.
Well done. Up to that line there, and hands up, let go. Landing gear all the way out, nice and gently, all the way up. That is so nice. Now we're going to practice what's called a climbing turn for Queenstown. So when you see 1,000, start turning left for me. So turn left, get the bottom triangle in the gap between the small line and the big line. Working hard here, man, doing really well. That's it. So perfect. Let that dot come down to the 10. Now pull back to keep it on the 10-degree line. Yes. So we speed up, we climb up, and we're turning all at once. Well done, man. All right, I'm going to set your speed again for you.
Yep.
230. You heard that noise?
Yep.
All happens quickly. Give it a push, and let that dot come down to this 5-degree line for me. So good. So push a little bit harder, that's it. Yeah, down, and then you want to keep it on the 5-degree line, so you'll probably have to pull back again now. Keep it there, and remember we're trying to make this number stop moving, so pulling towards you. Keep it there, so let less of pull back. Yes. Wow, man. How was that?
Good.
I'm not blowing smoke. That was one of the best.
Okay.
Do you work with your hands at all? Do you mind me asking?
Not really, no.
Really?
No.
Oh, all right. Well, it makes my job easier anyway. All right, we're just waiting for this purple line to get closer to your 12 o'clock.
Yep.
And that's when we're going to get our wings level again. I'm going to do a few after takeoff checks for you, so bringing the landing gear off. And no, that's right. I'll do it because you're concentrating in on here, and I'm going to get you working even harder now. So turning right, get the bottom triangle and top triangle lined up for me. Push at the same time to keep that dot on the 5 degrees. Looking up here, and stop turning for a second. Stop there. See how they're really close together. I'm just sort of keeping it on the 5. Means this moves really slowly, and we can be super accurate with it. So if you just wait patiently until that purple line's right at your 12 o'clock, it's only a tiny turn to the right to get those wings back to being level. Does that make sense?
Yep, sort of.
Sort of, kind of. So we're into the world's smallest left turn. And now, if you turn right, line these ones up. Remember, there's a bit of a delay. Keep turning, keep turning, keep turning. That's enough. Look at that. Bang in line, bang on the purple line. Nice.
That needs to be at 5, doesn't it?
No, just below the 5. So let go for a second.
Yep.
I'll use the wheels to make sure it stays there, and look, that number's not moving at all. Nice, man.
Okay.
How was that?
Good.
Yeah.
Real good.
All right, let's try again. So I'm going to make, if you're up for it, I'll make it nighttime this time, so we can see a little bit less outside.
Yep.
This time we're doing a full stop landing.
Okay.
So let's arm our brakes now, because you're so busy at the end, right? There's nothing to do now. So bring the auto brake to 2, because it's a nice big runway. That's it. And try arming your speed brake. Lift up, pull back a smidge, and rest it on that bump.
Yep.
Yeah, just drop it anywhere there. That's it. Speed brake armed. As long as it's on the other side of this, you're fine. And now we have our brakes armed, so we can start thinking about slowing down again. First stage is
the flaps.
Exactly right. Bring the flaps from 0 to 1 for me. And I'm just going to change us over to nighttime, so the screen's going to go blue just for a second. And then when we come back, doing that, what does that let you do? Can you remember?
Sorry?
Bringing the flaps from 0 to 1.
Slows it down.
Exactly that. Can you remember how to slow down? Because I gave you so much to do. So doing that, and then we change our cruise control.
Yep.
So bring that now, because you got flaps to 1. We're capable of flying at 190 knots. So you can bring that down to 190 for me. Beautifully done. Now, you know that there's a whole heap of water out there and a whole heap of land. You can't see it.
Yep.
So this is why we are using the screens in front of us.
Yep.
Because because you can be so much more accurate. So let's do it all over again, Captain.
Yep.
Turning to the left, get that dot up at the 5 degrees as well. So turning and pulling at the same time, triangling the gap between the small line and the big line, this dot up at the 5 degree line. Beautiful. Now I gave you a lot to do. You happy to keep doing everything?
Yeah, you'll have to remind me.
Yeah, oh no, I'm here to remind you, but if you want me to do anything, you let me know, because I'm certainly having a nice time over here. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, so that is the perfect turn there. Now we just want to keep that dot on the 5 degree line, so no need to turn, just pull towards you. Keep pulling, a little bit more, a little bit harder, keep it harder. Keep it there we go. Because we're slower, we're descending, but at a nice, smooth, steady rate.
Yep.
You heard that noise because we're just starting descent, which is exactly what we want to do. Nice. Do you want it? Can you bring the flaps to 5 while you're in the turn here? So bring the flaps to 5, and then look back in here. So no matter what, if I get you to do something else, something will go wrong here. So turning left. That'll do. Now up here, because you brought the flaps to 5, you can slow yourself down to 170. Yeah.
Okay.
To left.
Left.
Yeah, 170. Bring your landing gear out and down so we have some wheels to land on. And looking in here now, let's turn right. Get this tail over here. Tail being a technical
Keep it at 5.
Okay, keep it at the 5, exactly right. But more over here, get this tail right over here. So make it so you can't see the tail anymore. The tail. Keep turning, looking here. Just look here, just look here. Keep turning, keep turning, keep turning, keep turning, keep turning, keep turning, keep turning. That's it, that's enough. So now we're going to wait until we're a little bit closer to this white dotted line. While we wait, let's start our descent again. Push down to this little line.
Speed's coming down.
Yep, no, it should stay at 170 to altitude. Your height's coming down because that's what we want. Keeping it there, spot on. Turn to the left so you can see the donkey tail. I'm going to bring your flaps to 15 and slow you down some more. Look, too much. Looking here, remember that's where you're going to be in 30 seconds.
Yep.
And that's the center line of the runway. So we want these as close as possible. So turn actually to the right a little bit. Get this right on that white dotted line there. And that's enough. See that? In 30 seconds, perfectly lined up. Cool.
Okay.
Looking outside, you can see that we're bringing ourselves around, but we are a little bit to the left of the runway. So while we wait for that to happen, bring all your lights on. Down, down. And then 1, 2, 3, your taxi lights. So we're going to be on the ground this time, so you can bring them on. Very nice. So we're just staring intently at this, and that's when this white dotted line is at our 12 o'clock, that's when we want to get our wings level, which means not turning left or right. So looking nice here. So even though you haven't looked outside once, well, let's turn left a tiny bit more.
Left.
That's enough, that's enough, that's enough. Perfect. All right, that's enough.
Yep.
So I'll let you do that. I'm just going to bring your flaps to 30 and slow you down to your landing speed of 100.
I need to bring it in a bit more, don't I?
No, we have to start turning. Oh, no, this is looking really nice. So looking outside, got the runway spotted?
Yep.
You've done that really nicely. So you're at the right landing speed. I just did that bit for you. So drawing a line, do you feel like you're flying over the top a little bit?
Yes.
Give it a push for me. That's it. And squeeze it left for me a little bit more. A little bit more left. A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Keep turning left, keep turning left. That's enough. Spot on. So just looking outside now. Draw a line from here. If you feel like you're sinking off the line, pull back. If you feel like you're flying over the top, push down.
Maybe over the top.
It's looking pretty good, actually. Just keeping that runway nice and in the middle of that screen is perfect. So you'll hear 500, 400, 300, 200, 100.
About 2,000, you've already done that?
200, buttons in.
Yep.
100, power down. The only difference, instead of giving yourself full power, when your wheels hit the ground, you bring the reverse thrust up. Okay?
Yep.
So bring your feet back on those pedals. Squeeze it to the right for me a tiny, tiny bit. Turn right, turn right, turn right, turn right. That's enough? Nice, man. So just looking outside for me. I feel like we might be flying over the top just a little bit. So give it a push. Beautiful. That's it. So I'm listening for 200, exactly right. Squeeze it back to the left now that we're lined up.
What do you say then?
The 300, sorry. Let you do this. 200 buttons in, and then turn to the left. Turn to the left just a tiny bit. Tiny, tiny, tiny bit. That's heaps so nice, man. Listening for 100, power down. Feet are on those pedals. 100. Down. So we're going to land, yeah. That's it. Wait, no, that's arms. So wait for the wheels to hit the ground, and then you'll bring the reverse thrust up, okay? So waiting for those wheels. And reverse thrust now. Steering with your feet. Captain Michael. Very, very nice, even at night time. So keep that reverse thrust up. See the speed on your left there going past 90? When it goes past 50, bring that reverse thrust back down for me. So there you go, you can bring it back down. Wait for us to come to a complete stop.
Okay.
Parking brake on by pulling back. And breathe.
Okay.
Well done, man. They're both very, very nice landings.
Bit to the right, that last one.
I feel like you may be a bit of a perfectionist. Your second ever landing, you did it rather nicely. It was just when we give ourselves power in these big jet aircraft, it's because they're under your wings that you pitch up at the end there. So we just pitched up right at the end. But apart from that, man, as far as like lining yourself up and you're figuring out your height, nah, man, it was really nice. Okay, so it might be a bit mean to get you to do Queenstown at night time to start, so I'll change it over to daytime again. Have you been to Queenstown before?
Never.
Excellent. All right, please let me be your tour guide as well then. So first thing you're going to notice is a bit of a Christmas tree effect on your navigation display. So remember how I was talking about terrain?
Yep.
This is terrain that we have to worry about.
Yep.
Red means you're underneath it, yellow means you're level with it, and green means you're over the top. Now it makes sense you can't see any green because we're on the ground, but this dark spot here means we're nice and heavily over the top, so that's a valley that's running through there.
Okay.
So looking outside, a bit of a pesky mountain at the end of that runway there.
Yep.
It's not typically what you want to see when you're on a runway there.
Yep.
Now, we're not going to take that mountain on. So instead, we're going to do what we did in Sydney.
Taxi down and come back.
No, because it's no better that way either.
Okay.
So what we can do is that climbing turn that we did in the second takeoff. Remember how you took off, got to 1,000 feet, and started that left-hand turn. So we're taking off and turning, and we're going to go around that mountain.
Okay.
So we'll take off, loop around. So that's that mountain there. So take off, loop around, figure of 8, fly over the top of the runway, and we'll do a right-hand turn to line ourselves up going this way.
Yep.
Then once we do a touch and go again, and then we'll take off, because we'll take off from about halfway down the runway a little bit faster, we'll be able to make it over the top of that mountain.
Okay.
Now, we're not going to take that for granted, obviously.
Yep.
We're going to, as soon as you take off and get the landing gear up, we're going to be steering in here, making sure this color turns green before we reach it. If it doesn't look like it's going to turn green in time, this is our escape hatch, our escape route here. We'll turn left and go down the valley.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, couple of
So, sorry, red means...
Underneath.
Underneath, you're
Yellow
underneath
means
it.
you're roughly level with it.
Okay.
And green means you're over the top. So as you take off, you'll hopefully see this turn yellow, turn green, and then disappear. Couple other things to notice. First off, we don't have our white dotted line anymore.
Yep.
And that's because this thing, which is called a flight management computer, still thinks that we're in Sydney.
Yep.
So I'm going to let it know we're in Queenstown, and it will give us our, not only give us our runway back, it will give us new takeoff speeds, new landing speeds, all sorts of cool things. As the captain, can you just clean the plane up a little bit? So the speed brake's going to come back into that locked position, so push it all the way down. That's it. Flaps can come back to 5. You have to burrow underneath 15, so you can't do it by accident. That's it. Perfect. Now, saying that we're in Queenstown has deleted our takeoff speeds and given us fresh ones. So that's our rotation speed there, and we put our what's called a V2 speed into our auto throttle. So can you make that say 145 for me?
Keep going the wrong way.
That's right. Now pushing those buttons in. Remember you did that at the end. Actually turns off the auto throttle, so it stops trying to maintain that speed.
Okay.
So you actually have to lift that. So if I lift that up and you push those buttons in, looking here, there you go. So push that lever back up to arm it, and now the N1 and the speed will work. Cool.
Okay.
Apart from that, we're bringing the auto brake back to RTO for our takeoff. And the only other thing, climbing up to 3,000 feet when you're already at 1,200 feet isn't going to do too much for you. Because remember, that's above sea level. So let's climb up to 5,000 feet and give ourselves a little bit more wiggle room over these mountains.
Okay.
Because there's plenty of them around. Apart from that, you've got about a third of the width of the one runway to land on and about half the length. So it's certainly right on our limits. It's certainly exciting.
Yep.
And we're going to give it a crack. So everything else is going to be the same. So you're going to push on that parking brake to turn it off. You're going to bump the throttle up to the 4, looking for that white line underneath. And we're going to do it all over again, man. That's just to make sure the engines spool up at a similar speed, which they did. So you can hit this N1 button for me now. We're off and racing, Captain. So feet on those pedals, steering with your feet, waiting for us to get enough speed that we can take off safely. Good luck. Lining yourself up using this bit just here.
The pedals don't appear to be put.
Oh, sorry, that was me. I have my pedals on them. Do they work now?
Yep.
Yep, perfect. A little bit of right pedal to start. little bit more. Keep that right pedal in until this is in line with the white line. 80 knots. That's better. Because that right engine spooled up quicker than the left one. Alrighty. V1, rotate. Pulling back towards you. Pull back until we take off. And we're off. Feet off the pedals, eyes inside. That's 5.
15?
Yep, up to the 15. That's 10. Beautiful. Hands up, let go. Landing gear all the way out, all the way up. Beautiful. Keeping on the 15-degree line until you see it. This is above sea level. This is above the ground. So when you see 1,000, push down to the 10-degree line so we get some speed as well. There you go. Push down to the 10. Nice and smooth. It's so, so nice. Perfect. You can see this is all green here, which is perfect. That's enough.
Bit of red out there.
Turning, yep, we don't want to go right, that's for sure. Let's turn left instead, shall we? Get the bottom triangle in the gap between the small line and the big line by turning left.
Turning left?
Yep, turn left. What we want is turn left. Let's, make sure we, sorry.
Yep, oh, sorry.
Turn left, get the bottom triangle in the gap between the small line and the big line.
Yep.
That's better.
A few mountains there?
Yeah, exactly. We don't really want to take on this big bit here. We don't really want to take on, so we're going to turn ourselves around instead. I'm going to set our speed for us again.
Yep. So
looking in here, get the triangle left, small, big, just like you did in Sydney.
Yep.
Perfect. Drop this down to the 10-degree line. That's enough of a turn. Keep it on the 10. Now, you heard that noise?
Terrain.
No. That actually means that we're getting close to the altitude, remember, that we want to level out at? So give it a push for me and get that dot down on the 5-degree line. That's enough of a turn. Let's turn right. Get that triangle back in the gap over here. That's it. Perfect. See, that's right in the middle of that gap. That's what we're after, keeping that on the 5 degrees. It's beautiful to watch. All right, have you been to Queenstown before?
Never.
All right, so these mountains in front of you.
I need to keep it at 5, do I?
Yes, if you can. So what would you do in this situation?
Gap.
How would you get it down to 5?
Push forward.
Yes, well done. Nice, man. So you're just trying to make it so this number doesn't move. Beautiful. All right, so the mountains out here, they're called the Remarkables. It's an amazing ski sort of mountain.
Yep.
And where we're going in this gap here is Queenstown proper. So we're going to fly through this gap in the mountains.
I need to just keep this at 5, don't I?
Which is, keep that left turn going is more important here. Because this is the Remarkables that we don't want to hit here. And pull towards you. That's it. Very nice. So just quickly looking outside, that little gap there is where we're trying to get through. And that's my favorite view on the sim, which is just mean because I'm not making you look at it. So this is the runway here.
You still have a habit of looking out the window.
Yeah, so I mean,
so
especially.
What about this hill here?
Yeah, so let's turn to the right and get the bottom triangle and top triangle lined up.
I need to stay at 5.
That's it. Perfect. That's enough. Fishness, a little bit more, sorry. I lied to you. The bottom triangle and top triangle. That's enough. Beautiful. All right, so we have this. If you give it a push so you can see outside, so you notice how your wings get level, you go up.
Yep.
Because we're more aerodynamic, so you're going to need to push and get that dot below the 5-degree line. And then looking outside for me. So you had a big mountain just going out our window here.
Yep.
We have a green hill out my window. See how there's a lake here and a big green hill?
Yep.
Those two mountains make a valley that we're going to use to descend down and line ourselves up.
So they need to still be at 5?
No, let's push this button for a second, Michael. So hit that CMD button for me. Hit this heading select button for me. That's it. What you just told it to do is follow that purple line. Give you a bit of a breather so you can do the after takeoff checks because you've got a lazy first officer.
Okay.
Landing gear out and into the off position. Perfect. Auto brake we don't need. That can turn off. And I'll do the lights. Left 2, right 3. Okay, turn off that autopilot. So push that button in. That's it. Perfect. Okay, so we need to slow down first. So I'm going to bring the flaps to 1 and you're going to slow down to 190 for me, please. Beautiful. And we've got some big pesky mountains in front of us. So we're going to look in here because we can use that more accurately. Turn right, make it so the donkey tail stays in this nice dark bit here. So turning right, that's it, keep turning. Keep turning, keep turning. And that looks pretty good there. See how we're clear of any major terrain over here?
Yep.
Very nice. So we don't want to descend too much, so that's enough of a turn. Pull, get it up at the 5-degree line. So you know as you start that turn...
The 5-degree line?
Yeah, exactly. When you start that turn, we start sinking, and when you get your wings level, we start going up. So that's looking, we're clear of terrain here. That's looking really nice. Let go for a second there. I'll use the wheels to keep it there. Nice. All right.
So we're still turning?
Yep, we want to turn because we want to stay in this little dark spot here.
Yep.
So let's bring the next stage of flaps out, Captain. So bring them to 5, and that means you can slow down more to 170 knots. Nice, man. So I've just used those wheels to make sure that the dot stays where it is, and we're still in that nice turn here. This is the white dotted line, so we're going to line it up going this way. Looking outside, so they've got this little tabletop here that's at 3,000 feet. So as long as we're above 3,000, we're okay. You see how it's green? So we know we're okay. And this is going to be quite a tight turn. That's a mountain, and that's a mountain.
Okay.
You have that tiny little gap to go through. It's it's certainly intense flying in Queenstown.
Okay.
So how could we make that turn a bit easier? If we were slower, it means that we could do a tighter turn, right?
Okay.
Let's bring out some more drag. Out and down, bring some wings out, wheels out. That's it. And if you bring the flaps to 15 as well, that means you can slow down as well, which will tighten it up. So 160 in here.
Okay, but I keep above 3,000, haven't I?
Exactly right, yep.
So I need to pull up a bit.
I'll turn us to 160. You looking in here, let's start a right-hand turn a little bit more, and that way we won't have to worry about the tabletop. So it's all still green. I'm going to zoom you in, and that looks good for the moment. So stay there for a second. Stay there. Stop.
Yep.
And we want that to coming down to the 5. In fact, let's start a descent. So if you push that down to this little line, that's it. Perfect. And looking in here, nothing you haven't seen from Sydney, right?
Yep.
So we're going to line where we're going to be up in 30 seconds with the center line of the runway by turning left. So turn left, get the tip right on that white dotted line. So nice, man.
You've got to keep it down a bit, though.
Yeah, so push at the same time. And that's enough. That's enough. Stop there. See that in 30 seconds?
Yep.
We're clear of that terrain, clear of that terrain. Stop turning, stop turning. Push. Get that dot down, sit it on the horizon for me. So nice, man. I'm going to bring your flaps to 30, slow you down some more.
So I keep turning to the right, do I?
Looking here, let's turn left a little bit. Get that tip right on that line. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool.
But I've got to be
working hard here, mate.
On the horizon.
Looking here, keep turning left, keep turning left, keep turning. This is more important. So we don't worry about that just yet. And get it so you can't. Bigger turn left, and stop. Perfect. Yes. All right. Looking outside. Look out your left window for me.
Yep.
That is how close you get to that mountain. It's bonkers to me.
Yep.
Right in front of you, there is a tiny runway to land on.
Yep.
So you're going to draw a line from here to the start of that runway.
Yep.
We're in a tiny right turn. So squeeze it left for me. Left.
Squeeze it left.
Yep. Squeeze it. Squeeze it. Squeeze it.
That way.
A little bit more. That's enough. Oh, that's heaps. That's heaps. Nice. Do you want to bring all your lights on? So down, 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 down. And that way you've done pretty much everything. Down, all of them down. I'll do those ones. That one.
Yep.
Draw a line from here, Captain.
Yep.
I feel like we might be sinking a little bit.
So pull up a bit.
Pull back a little bit. Yep, exactly right. And back to the right for me as well. Turning right as well. Right. That's it. Line it up. That's enough. That's enough. All little movements as you get closer. Awesome. You can't use the 500, 400, 300 because it goes up here. Man, you've done this well again. So push the buttons in now, these ones. Turn left for me. That's heaps. Awesome. See how tiny that runway is? Bonkers, right? Bring the power down in one smooth motion. That's it. Feet on the pedals, feet on the pedals. You got it. And a right pedal when your wheels hit the ground. No, we're going to take off. So full power for me. This one here. I'll go full powers. Yeah, all the way forwards.
Sorry.
No, you're okay. And then wait for me to say rotate and rotate. So pulling it back towards you, nice and gently. And we're off and racing. 15 degrees, Captain. Feet off the pedals. Intense, right?
Very intense.
I worked you too hard, I think, there. Sorry, mate. But 15 degrees, let go. Landing gear, nice and gently, all the way out, all the way up. And we're going to stare. We're going to keep that on the 15. If it's above, push. Yeah, get it on this line here. If that dot is above that 15-degree line, we won't climb up high, like the perfect amount of height per meter gained, if that makes sense.
Okay.
If it's below it, we won't climb high. Like that is the most efficient climb. And now we're just going to stare in here, making sure it all turns green. So that's all looking good. We're looking for there. So that's 5 miles away. We need to make sure, there we go, we're happy. Now we can turn right, get the turn right a little bit. Get the triangles lined up, turn right.
Turn right?
Yeah, get those triangles lined up.
Oh, yeah.
That's enough?
Yep.
we're staring in here. It all looks green. Nicely done.
Yep.
So now you can push it down to the 10 degrees and we'll start to speed up. So you heard that noise.
Yep.
Do you remember what that one is? What that noise means?
Okay, I'll forget now.
No, that's all right. It means that we're approaching the right altitude.
Oh, okay.
So give it another push and get it below the 5 degree line for me. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. All right, I'll do your after takeoff checks for you. And let go there. And I'll use the wheels. Just let go for a second. I'll use the wheels to keep it there. Well done, man.
So that's the runway there.
That's the extension of the runway. The actual runway is behind us. Okay. So let's turn right just a little bit, and then we're going to do a big left turn and use this valley just to the left of us to descend down. So turn right. Get that purple line at your 12 o'clock. When this 12 o'clock hits the purple line, I want a big left turn, okay? So looking in here.
And a big left turn because we've got big mountains down there.
Exactly right. So turning left now. So big left turn, get this triangle in the gap between this, actually just get it close to this big line. That's the biggest legal turn we can do.
Okay.
Perfect. Get this on the 5 degree line for me. So just let it go down, and then you pull back a little bit now. Keep pulling back till it stops. Keep pulling back, keep pulling back, keep pulling back. There, perfect. It's nice because we're a little bit slower, so it means we'll descend, but at a nice smooth rate. And looking here, that tail looks like it's going to get a little bit close to here, do you think?
Yeah, yeah.
So let's bring our flaps to 1. I can do that, and I'll slow us down to 190.
So I need to keep it at 5, don't
I? Yes, please. Yeah. All right.
Straighten up now?
No, because if we straighten up, we're going straight for this mountain. We're turning around to come line ourselves up with this white dotted line. So we're doing a huge turn around.
Let that go up a bit more.
So pull towards you, no turning left or right. Pull towards you until this number stops moving. You have a little trend here. You want that lever right up in here. So keep pulling. You need that dot to go up. There you go. That's better. So it's not always the 5 degrees. It depends on how heavy you are, what speed you're going, but that's spot on. Let's turn around, a small turn to the right now.
But I could keep it at 5.
Actually let it descend. So keep it on that little line and get the triangles lined up. So stop turning there for a sec, because we've still got a little while to go, and we're starting our descent. I'm going to slow you down.
So you want the triangles lined up there?
Yes, please. I want those triangles lined up when that's at our 12 o'clock, if that makes sense. So we want to just be in a small... let's stop turning there for a sec. All right, that'll do. So looking outside, see how you've got these mountains and the left coastline? The runway goes off in that direction. So in a perfect world, you'd line yourself up from over there. But there's mountains, so you're sneaking into the right. Would you like to add a snowstorm? See what you can see out the window?
See we go.
Just for your own curiosity. So this is how much you can see in a storm. Yeah. So even though you can't see the runway anymore,
you can see this.
Exactly. So bring your landing gear out and down. We'll start at ascent, so we'll just sit that dot right there. I'll use the wheels to keep it there. Auto brake to 3. So I'm working you really hard here. Speed brake as well. Out, up, drop it there, perfect. Flaps to 15. Nice, man, doing it all yourself. Slow yourself down. I'll slow you down to 160. Turn right for me. Looking in here, donkey tail. Get all of this tail on this side. That's enough. Look at that. Perfectly lined up. Yep, now pull towards you a little bit. Sit that dot on the horizon. That's where I want it. Perfect. Now back in here. Look at it both. Turning right a little bit more to keep it all on this side. Turning right.
Yep, that's horizon.
Yeah, so that's where you want it. That's perfect. And when that's perfect, yes, man. All right, so I'm going to bring your flaps to...
Yeah, I've just gone over a bit too much. Is that the case?
Yeah, so turning left a little bit. Peel that bit back onto there. And I'm going to slow you down to your landing speed. Get your lights on. Yes, mate. Turning left, big turn left. Big turn, big turn, big turn. And stop. A little bit more. And stop. Looking out, looking outside.
Yep.
How well have you done? All right, that's looking really nice. So, remember to bring your wheels, plant your wheels, feet on the wheels. Turning left to get your wheels. Yep, that's enough. That's enough. Oh, buttons in. And power all the way down now. Yes. Pulling back just a tiny bit. Feet on the pedals. Reverse thrust when your wheels hit the ground. This one here.
This one.
Yeah, no, you're right. Steering with your feet out, you've got no problems. So you'll need a little bit of right pedal to keep you there. I worked you very hard, Michael. Well done, mate. Really, really nice. So watching the speed, it goes below 50 on the left there. See that? 60.
Yep.
And reverse thrust back down. This one here.
Park brake on?
Breathe. No. We'll get off the runway. So I haven't done anything for you. So I'm gonna bring your flaps up, turn your brake off, that sort of thing. Do you want to just bump the throttle just somewhere between the 3 and the 4, just like you did right at the start? Well done, man. A little bit less than that. At that, so in that gap there.
Yep.
Next gap over.
Oh, next gap over.
3 and 4. 3 and 4. That's it. That's it. Perfect. All right, and we'll take this taxiway off to the right here. See this one? So if you have your hands on the quarter black wheel, pull it down first, and a bit like a big truck. So you're going to come, like that, and then you'll be able to bring yourself onto that taxiway to the right there.
So bring it down towards me.
Yeah, towards you. Yep, that's it. And now all the way up.
Yep.
Yep, just hold it all the way up. That's it. You can actually use the engines to help you out as well, which is not that uncommon. And can you see this yellow line going off this direction?
Yep. So I'll follow the yellow line, do I?
Follow the yellow line. And now that we're off the runway here, bring the throttles all the way back down. Wait for us to come to a stop.
Yep.
Parking brake on. Bring it back.
Yep.
Captain Michael, that is how you fly Boeing 737s.
Thanks for that. Good.
Very well done, man. I honestly, I just threw everything I had at you just because you did do it so well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the only thing that I was semi helping you out with was these wheels.
Yep.
So when I had you looking in here, eventually pilots learn to do what's called a scanning technique. So you have to flick over here, flick here, flick here, over here, flick here. So when I was getting you to put that dot where you went, like over here and then looking over here, I was using these wheels to keep that dot on there. Okay. Remember, these wheels are attached to that flat part of the tail. Yep. And it's meant for that. It's meant to just keep that dot where you are, just keep it stable at all times. So Airbus have automated ones of these. Yep. So all you have to do is put the dot where you want it, and it will do it automatically. Yep. But hopefully that's not as much fun as what we get to do. So I'll stop that video, mate, and we'll go out and get some fresh